Okay, I'm getting a little woozy from all the cleaning solution from cleaning the whiteboard, so I'm going to give this a shot, at least for a clip or two here. The next part of what we'll do is rational exponents. What we're going to want to be able to do is that there's going to be time and place where we can recognize, like the square root of 4, you guys are going to jump right to 2. Square root of 9, you're going to jump to 3. Sometimes we're going to have an item that's written in a rational exponent. We're going to want to convert it back to a radical. Remember, the radical form has the radical symbol in it. The rational exponent form will not. But sometimes you're going to see things with that maybe you don't see with the radicals. So we want to be able to do a change. Consider it like seeing 1/2 and you realize that it's a 0.5, or seeing 0.5 and we realize it's a half. Being able to convert between those values. So when we convert, we want to make sure that we're keeping the items equal. Okay, so we had this before. The nth root of a to the m. Okay, we had that before, and we said this was the index, that's the power, that's the base, and the entire expression underneath the radical was the radicand. Well, I can take this and convert it to a rational exponent. First, let's label this. This is the radical form. I can convert it to a rational exponent. Well, what happens is the base is still the base, and what happens is we're going to have a fractional exponent. So this is always going to be power divided by the index. Power divided by the index. So it's always going to be m divided by n. Now remember, this wasn't the only form. We had the one earlier where that m was outside the radical. Just remember, the rational exponent is the base raised to the power divided by the index. So if I have this, we remember that this is a 2. This is where it's very critical that we do remember that's a 2. If we don't, when we convert the form, we'd have the wrong form. So the base is still just y. The power, it's understood to be a 1. In this problem, we have a lot of things that have to understand. Y is understood to be a 1. We understand that to be a 2. So power divided by the index. Hopefully that kind of makes sense with the example where I had to plug it into the calculator and I had to use that XY button that I showed you. And I said that the cube root was 1 of 3 equal parts, meaning the fraction was 1/3. Well, a square root is 1 of 2 equal parts. So its rational exponent fraction is 1/2. If I have the cube root of z, that gives me z to the 1/3. A 4th root would be a variable to the 1/4. So what if I had x to the 2/3? So here we're converting the radical form to rational exponent. I want to be able to now take the rational exponent form and convert it to the radical. Well, the index is the denominator, so I know that I'm going to have a cube root. The base is still the base. Now, how you write this is dependent on where you prefer to put the power. Most often, it's on the base inside. So that's an option. Okay. The other option is where you could have the base inside and then the entire expression raised to that power. This is most popular. And this will help us with when we go through and start simplifying. Okay? So this you should look at and see that it's in rational exponent form. And if I say convert to the other form, there's going to be ones where we can do this and we could simplify later on. Right now we're just making the conversion. We're practicing the conversion. So this tells me I have a index of 4 in the denominator. So I know that the root, where the index is 4. The power is a 1, so I know the base is 3a. Because that power is 1, I really don't need to write the set of parentheses. These are equivalent. If that power was a 3, I would need the set of parentheses and 3. Because if I don't have a set of parentheses, I would just be cubing the a. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. This is going to be your last you try. What I want you to do is I want you to convert to rational exponent. As you think of this, think of that radical as a set of parentheses. Okay? And I also want you to try taking that, and I want you to go to radical form. And I will go over those in the next clip.